Hi Stuart. So the purpose of this video is just to show you some of the capability on the Tier 4 models that we spoke about. So it'll be a brief look at it, and obviously we can come down and give you a live demo on some of the machines in due course. So you can see we're on the main screen here. We've got all the different environments. So we'll just head into off-highway. Text has split it into categories, as you can see: agricultural, construction, forklifts and telehandlers, trains, not generally that popular, and industrial engines. So obviously if we're not going through a specific machine selection, we can go into the specific engine itself. So just to run through the list we had, I'll go into construction vehicles. You can see we've got an A to Z list. Ignore the D, that just means I have a demo or demonstration mode that I can pretend to be on a vehicle or machine. So I'll scroll down. I mean, you can see I'll scroll down slowly. You can speed this up on the video, but you can see we pretty much cover everything worldwide. But I'll just keep on going down until we'll start with Volvo. As we go down. Okay, so reach the bottom there. So Volvo CE, so we'll click into there. I'm just going to pick Volvo dumpers, and then as you can see we've got Tier 3 and Tier 4 interim, but we've also got Tier 4 final. So just clicking into that. You can see obviously we've got the engine, we've also got the SCR or DPF systems there. What we have is a global scan here, so it will scan both systems in one go, but we've also got actions, and this has been broken down into 3 categories. So we've got vehicle maintenance, adjustments and coding, and activation tests. So just to quickly go through those, so vehicle maintenance, we've got the particulate filter regen there. If we go back, adjustments and coding, this will be a bit more detailed. So within the engine we've got some injector coding and pressure relief valve resets there, and then if we click into the DPF again, it shows there will be repetition across some of these. So we'll click into Volvo again, and finally so we have activation tests. So again, similarly, the setup or the screen is the same no matter what manufacturer or environment we go in. So you can see we can do some compression tests, switch off injectors and so on. And then if we click on the SCR, again we can do some dosing tests down there as well. Okay. Just click back on Volvo to the top. Just on the left hand side here, I won't go into too much detail about these now, but obviously we've got some technical data sheets there for the Volvo system sheets and vehicle sheets. So under the system sheets there's just a bit of information there about the system. There's also notes regarding AdBlue. Like I said, techs are pretty up on the AdBlue side of things. They're running some courses. We're also doing some courses off-highway AdBlue courses as well. And then on the vehicle sheets, again, there's a few generic sheets there, but you've also got an MID code list. I'd say the descriptions are pretty good when you're actually communicating. The description is good on the fault, but just in case, obviously, we've got all of those listed and a description on each. I'll go down that quite quickly, but you can see there's an extensive list there. So we'll close that down. The other side of it, there's a lot more features that I won't slow you down with those at the moment. It was more just about showing you the coverage. So we'll just go back to construction vehicles and special vehicles. So the next one was Hitachi. So on the right hand side we've got an A to Z again, so I can just click the H and head down there. So we're into Hitachi, and I think we spoke about ZX Series 6 excavators, so I'll click into there. You see automatically at the top there it came up saying Isuzu engine. So again, we've got a few more systems there that we can look at. But again, we're Tier 4 final, Hitachi and Isuzu protocol. So we've got both options there. Engine vehicle adjustment, and there's a few other systems. Dependent obviously what's been factory fitted, they may be possible to use as well. Up the top we've got actions on the vehicle, similarly with the Volvo. So if we click into vehicle maintenance, again normal and slow regeneration. Adjustments and coding, again we could do a fuel pump reset, we've got some injector codes there, and again those two regenerations. And then into the tests, we can do, there's quite a few more on the actual engine, cylinder cut-offs, EGR, valve controls, but also on the braking retarder anyway. So yeah, there's a few bits and pieces in there. Again, we've got some technical data sheets, but they're quite generic. What we'll do, we'll just head back to there, and I'm going to go now into Cabelco. So we'll click to Cabelco there, and we mentioned the 200 to 850 series, so we'll click into that. 3 options. I know you said you've got a Hino engine on the ones you're working on, so we click into that. Again, we've got tier 3 and tier 4 and stage 5, so we can click into that, and again we're showing the engine and the SCR system. This is just flashing to invite you to press that. Again, the breakdown, so you can see we've got a force regen there and some resets. Just some coding again. It'll all be quite similar, but I think it's just showing that the tier 4 is not a problem. You can see there's a few bits and pieces there as well. Okay. And activation wise, again, quite a long list there for you to do. Lastly, it was the Doosan, or just wanted to show you. So into the Doosan, again we'll go to the excavator. 5 different engine options there. I know you said you had Scanias, so we'll click into the Scania. Again, same format, but you can see that's in there, and then we got tier 3, 4 and tier 4 final for the exhaust gas treatment. Again, we'll go into vehicle maintenance, quick service, regen there, adjustments and coding. Yeah, we've got quite a few bits there. I mean, until we're actually connected to the ECU, and obviously whatever it will allow us to do, this is basically giving you the total possibility, but obviously every ECU is slightly different, so until we actually plug in live, I would suggest that the majority, yes we can, but there may be 1 or 2 that we might not be able to do, but until we try, I don't know for sure. Again, on the SCR down there, in fact we've got speed limiter there as well. Okay, and then obviously if we just go back to the excavator, just go into the Cummins as well. I mentioned about the Cummins. You can see, again, I won't go into those, but in fact on the left hand side here we have got some wiring diagrams there as well as technical data sheets. Like I said, Cummins is pretty good for us. So the technical data sheets, you've got engine system sheets there. What we've also got is technical data and checks. Now this is something that you'll see on a lot of things, particularly maybe Volvo, John Deere, Cummins, where we've got actual mechanical data, and that can range. You see here we've got tier 4 final. That ranges from lubricants, capacities, tightening torques. Click on tightening torques, it's usually a good one, and that gives you a bit of a layout of everything there. So yeah, a bit of additional information in there to help you. I won't scroll all the way down. Just go back into there. Checks and adjustments, yeah, lubricants, capacities. So again, it's giving you that information to help with your diagnosis and your repair. So we'll just come out of that. Wiring diagrams, again, that's, it's not. I'm not going to say it's on everything. They're obviously similarly to the JAL test. Information is coming through all the time, and they're updating the system. So for example, I'll just click on one at random, but you can see there it's an interactive wiring diagram. You've got the main ECU there, it gives you a bit of a description. You can hover over all the different components and see. On this one we've got some connector information, so just pin configuration, so at least you can track back to where you need to go. Up here we've got a legend where we can actually scroll through all the items that are on this diagram. You can see there, and we can click on one of those, it'll then take us to it. It did do. There we go. Okay, and there's a data card on there as well, and that will give you a generic check sheet. So at least you can start testing the component. So that Texa info gives you a little bit of information about the component, how it works, and so on. What sort of range to look for, recommended checks, and so forth. On some of these, you will go into oscilloscoping, but I don't know whether you're doing that at all. But yeah, that's certainly something we can help with as well. So we'll just click out of there. We've got wiring colours and various other bits and pieces. You can print these and so on. So we'll come out of there. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of other features. Customer management, you can start storing the information from each vehicle or machine and start building up a history of the fault screens and so on. So what we'll do, let's just go back. I just want to briefly show you us actually connecting in. So we'll use one of the demonstration modes, Tier 4, and just connect in, and so I can at least show you the screen that you would be working with. Okay, just allow that to open. Okay, so that's loaded up a demonstration mode with, it's just showing a couple of historic memory faults, but it's just to give you an idea of what the sort of screens you can expect. So you can see you've got a couple there. We can just double click on those. In fact, we can also click, we'll just wait for that to load. There's a bit of information there. You can see on the right hand side there's a web, there's a question mark, and there's a what looks to be a snowflake with a number. So what we've got, I can't actually double click it because I'm in a demo mode, but basically what it's giving is a bit of information about that specific fault, so at least you can understand a bit more about it. So you'll start to see a lot of these question marks appearing, not just in the fault screens but also in the live data. What we've also got is freeze frame technology, or freeze frame data. So again, we can click on that and see what was going on with the engine at the time that fault occurred. Obviously, depending on the complexity of the engine, that will have a lot more information. So we can just come out of there. We have a web troubleshooting forum, which is basically from around the world. As long as you're on the internet, you can get onto it and at least maybe see if anybody's had a similar experience. And obviously Texa publish any fixes or suggestions of specific fault codes, so a useful thing to have. Just around here, obviously we can print, we can save that information, or we can try and erase it. Just before we get to the live data, we've got ECU info, so it will drag out everything that it can. So you can see there, that's quite useful. And then what it will do also is obviously just break down the activations and the settings. So like what we saw earlier with the different actions on the vehicle or machine, you can see there's a list of what we can do. And with each one, again, depending on exactly what you're trying to do, there's a question mark, and it will just tell you what you're trying to achieve, and so on. So it will give you a bit of information there to guide you through it. Same with the settings. Again, there's a lot of options there. Down to injector coding, you can see that's got a web lock. That just means whenever you're doing something that has a web lock, you're leaving a footprint of what you've done. So it just goes to the Texa server, meaning you've got responsibility for what you're doing. So that's that. Then into the parameters, obviously we've got a big long list of all the components. We've got 82 sensors on here, each with a value and a measurement. and as we scroll down, those will populate. So again, you can see, for example, here we've got more question marks, so we can click on there. Okay, that's just telling us a little bit of information about that. That's reasonably obvious. Some will give you the actual number that you're looking for, or the parameters that you want it to be between. So you can see there. Obviously, we can double click those, and they become a line. So much easier generally to see that than it is to see a flicker in a number on the right hand side. The other thing we've got, which I know Jaltos have a similar thing, is called dashboard mode. Again, it's not on everything, but a lot of certainly on the newer stuff, you'll start to see it. So we can click on that, and what it will do is just put all those, well, not every single one, but a lot of those readings into a visual diagram that just makes more sense. So again, we've got a couple of pages there, so you can see, and that's all the same live data, just in a more beautiful format. So we'll just come out of there. What we can also do again is just filter this list. So if you're looking at that and thinking, well, I only want a few bits and pieces to look at, we can shorten that list, and then we can either record those specific sensors. We've got up to a 30-minute record, so you can see there, and basically that will store that in the system on the tablet and against that machine that you're working on for 6 months or however long down the line before you come to it again. So that's quite a useful feature. Again, you can print and save. You can screenshot all of the figures you're seeing, and then also you've got some favourite tabs up here. You can see at the top, which are quite useful. You can put your own in there as well, or add your own. Customer management I won't go into in great detail now, but that's something we can look at a later date. So yeah, that's pretty much an overview of it. I'll just disconnect from that, and yeah, thank you very much.